All right, last question. Jocko, great topic for me would be staying committed to life change. I start strong and fade fast into old habits. Please help.
I'm gonna have to bring in a little Shakespeare on this one. Shakespeare. Between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous dream. And that's Brutus from Julius Caesar. And Brutus in the play is plotting to kill Caesar, someone he was loyal to. In Shakespeare, the master of understanding human nature, he captures what that feels like. And here's what these lines mean. Between the acting of a dreadful thing. So that's the moment. That moment when you're waiting to do something that you don't want to do. And the first motion. So that's when you actually start doing that thing that you don't want to do. All the interim. Now this is all that time in that moment while you are waiting to take action is like a phantasma or a hideous dream. So that moment when you're waiting to do something, it's like an apparition, a hideous dream, a nightmare. And so the battle, the struggle, it takes place in that moment. It's not knowing what to do. That's not the battle. It's not actually doing it. That's not the battle. It's the moment in between. It's the hesitation. Hesitation is the enemy. And in war, understanding where the enemy is allows you to defeat him. And this is where the enemy of action, the enemy of commitment, the enemy of change, that's where the enemy lies. It lies in the waiting. And all you have to do to win is overcome that moment, the waiting, the hesitation. All you have to do is go. Move. Take action. Get out of bed. Get your feet on the ground. Step into the gym. Put down the donut and pick up the kettlebell. Do not hesitate. Do not wait. Go forward. Go to war. And win. Every single time. And I think that's all I've got for tonight. Thanks to everybody out there for listening and for all the awesome continued support we're getting from everybody. If you want to keep supporting Echo, how do they do that?
Well, primarily, I would say support yourself with supplementation. Because really, that's really what it's about. Not necessarily the supplementation, but supporting yourself as well. It's kind of like when you fly in the airplane. You got to put the mask over yourself first before you
help your infant.
Yeah. Because if you're not dope, you know what I mean. So anyway, if you need supplements, go to onnit.com/Jocko. Get 10% off Onnit supplements. What does that mean? That's the best supplements.
I like it.
And you got 10% off. I could explain why they're so good, but you can go on the website, read it. Just trust me. It's the only supplements I take, and you too, right?
Yes, indeed.
Or you take something else. Flintstone vitamins, something like that. Or you can support by clicking through, before you do your Amazon shopping, click through the website, or just get the Trooper tool. I think that would be a lot easier. So you go to the website, get the Trooper tool. It's called Jocko Podcast, Trooper tool, Chrome extension. Click on it.
Boom.
Confirm. Boom. It's on there. Anytime you shop at Amazon, you support passively this podcast. And you're kind of official. That's dope.
I don't like the word passive, even though I know it's the correct term. Because when you are that's a really good, easy way to support the podcast.
Yeah. So I don't agree with you on the passive.
Yeah, I know.
I like passive. They're actively shopping, actively getting after it, passively supporting. I dig it.
They actively went to the website, they actively installed the tool, or they click through. They're taking action and they're making things happen.
Yep.
I'm giving them credit.
And it's efficient too.
Yeah, I'm giving them credit.
And official. Anyway, nonetheless, that's a way, and that's a good way. Subscribe on iTunes, of course, if you haven't already.
Write a review.
Yeah.
Too. Write a review. Somebody wrote an awesome review the other day. That's appreciated because then we know what we're doing here. We're getting feedback. I'm reading the reviews.
Yeah. And it's
Echo's
cool.
reading the reviews.
Subscribe to YouTube.
We're
gonna be a little bit more active on the YouTube, so it won't be just the video version.
Active?
I'm gonna get active. I'm gonna do it.
Why don't you get a lot more?
Actually, I'm doing it. I'm active. I'm more active now.
That's good
as of right now. So that's a good. Subscribe to YouTube. That one's. How about this? Subscribe to YouTube. If I'm putting out dumb stuff, if I'm mucking it up, like right now, it's just, the video version of the podcast, which is cool. If you like the podcast, why not like the video version? If you even like videos. I'm going to add some stuff in there, some outtakes, deleted scenes, other stuff, little mashups or whatever. If they're lame, just unsubscribe.
You're confident that they will not be lame.
I'm confident, yeah, but that's just my opinion.
And I actually thought the first one was, it was pretty darn good.
Yeah. But
you know what's funny about those things?
Yeah.
It's a big inside joke. Like for somebody, that's for like no one is that doesn't. If someone stumbles across that video and watches it, it will mean nothing to them.
They'll get way less.
Anybody that is in the game with us, they know what's funny.
Yeah, they call those there's little Easter eggs in there, like the Trooper Tool video.
Yeah. There's
little Easter eggs in there. If you play back and pay attention or whatever, I like that. Just like the shirts,
and everybody caught the details.
Yeah,
everybody
they're sharp, man.
Everybody saw that on your Amazon page that you displayed. You had the duct tape.
Actually, if you look close, there's there's this stuff. There's Easter eggs and everything.
You just want to give them away. Look at
part of the fun. Part of the fun.
Look at you, man.
Nonetheless, yeah, sure. YouTube, you can support that way, and of course, if you like the shirts, get a shirt. We got a kind of a new one, the Trooper one. It's just the basic brand, Jocko Podcast. If you're on YouTube right now, I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah. Boom. Debbie, one of the troopers. She took a picture the other day. Like, wow, just amazing background, mountains, snow-capped mountains, trees. Trooper T-shirt.
Boom. Outstanding.
That was good.
Yeah. Well, they are. I did make it a point to get the good ones. They're not like, the process of
by good
creating
you mean quality.
Quality, yeah. I didn't just be like, hey, give me the cheapest possible one, the ballpark giveaway one. I didn't do that. I was like, I went through some lengths, so they're good. They're wearable.
Quality.
My goal is to be like, if you put it on, you'd be like, this is regardless of what's on it, this is my favorite shirt to wear. That's the goal.
And so the design is just a bonus.
I like to think so, yeah.
I think that's a good bonus.
Yeah. But yeah, get a shirt, jockostore.com. Boom. Get a sticker too if you want. There's a few options there. And a coffee mug. And may or may not have some Jocko white tea. Pomegranate. Maybe.
We have a little something coming out. Working with a company. A lot of people would talk to me about the beverage that I drink. Yeah, I drink some Alpha Brain, but my most common beverage Is the pomegranate tea.
Yep. And you can find that on Tim Ferriss, right?
Yeah, that was the first. People went crazy.
Because he was asking, "Hey, what is that? What is that? What is it?"
And he drank it.
And
when he drank it, he got all fired up. Listen to the Tim Ferriss podcast. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, well, this is like an adrenaline fuel."
There's caffeine in that one.
Yeah, there's a small amount of caffeine. Well, I shouldn't say small. Usually white tea is about a third of a cup of coffee, so it's pretty mild on the caffeine. Yeah. It's like a microdose of caffeine. Right. There's some antioxidants in there, and it tastes good. And so, anyways, I got approached about, hey, we are fans of the Jocko Podcast, and guess what? We make tea.
Boom.
We want to make your tea. Yeah. So I went through some iterations trying to find it and tune it. Yeah. The mixture.
Yeah.
And now we got a little something.
Yeah.
Jocko white tea.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah. So we'll put it on the Jocko store. Some kind of connection to get it.
Yep. But man,
I don't know when that'll be out. It'll be out sometime soon.
Yeah.
And you put that thing on there where people can get emails from us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the mailing list, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to put simply, it's a mailing list. It's more for like insiders. You care about like, I don't know, insider stuff. So I don't, how like there's a lot of mailing lists or whatever you can get on, and they'll like send you an email make it a point not to send you stuff that's like not relevant. Because I've signed up for that before.
Yeah, no, don't fill people's mailbox with stuff that is stuff.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's like, hey, here's my email. Violate my trust. No, man, no. I'll send you. Yeah, I'll when cool stuff comes important. Yeah, and not the kind like, hey, one out of all these people, one of these people might be interested in this. Let me send it to everybody. It's not that kind.
No.
Is if I think everybody's gonna be interested. I could be wrong, but if I think that genuinely, then I'll send you something.
And furthermore, if there is a pandemic, a disaster situation, I will be sending forth instructions for all troopers to congregate and dominate. And that's what we're going to do in the event of the zombie apocalypse.
See? So that alone right there is the reason.
And at some point, I may send out like a longer thing. Like, for instance, upcoming.
Right.
We got the muster.
Right.
That Leif and I are doing here in San Diego. Got to get out some details on that so people know when it's going down, all that stuff. I'm going to send that out to there so that people know what's happening and they get connected. So that's an example.
Yeah.
Am I going to email it 47 times? No.
Yeah. Hey, reminder.
But I know if you're enlisted on the mail, then you're interested in what we're saying.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we're putting it out there.
Yeah. And we're not going to violate that.
Here's my email. Violate my trust.
Yeah. What the hell? You know how because they'll send you stuff, bro. Every like 3 days.
Oh, yeah,
if you let them.
Sometimes multiple times a day.
Oh.
Who does that? Why is that considered to be good marketing?
I don't know.
Is that considered to be good marketing? Somebody must be telling people to do that.
I don't know.
You know what? That's what I don't want to do. Is market things.
Bro, yeah. See,
okay?
And that's the thing.
If anybody out there thinks I'm marketing things, stop me. Do it.
Well, I did learn recently there's a difference between advertising and marketing. So marketing is everything. Like if even you wearing that shirt, that's technically marketing.
For Victor
advertising.
Okay, well.
On the other hand.
All right, busted.
I don't want to get into a big thing here. Bro, I was talking to
Well, I guess then we market and we advertise for.
No, we market. We don't advertise.
We don't?
No.
Okay. What about when I say
ads.
What about when you say, "Hey, On It has good stuff." And I say, "Yeah, get the krill oil."
That's On It advertising, technically.
Okay. I'm
We're in the advertising.
Well, what I don't want to do is beat people down with, buy this, buy that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Good idea.
On It is actually supporting the podcast, and I support On It. That's Joe Rogan's company, and Joe Rogan's a great guy who helped us out. By the way, we're sitting here because of Joe Rogan. FYI. All right. The other way, you got the, you can buy a little book called Extreme Ownership, written by myself and my brother Leif Babin, who was on the last podcast 34. He was also on podcast 11. And we wrote a book it's about leadership. It's about war. It's about business. It's about life. And it's available in hardcover and digital audio format, both. Leif and I, we read the sections that we wrote, so that's cool. And you know what's cool is get it for yourself, which is cool. It'll help you. But then help your team. Grab them a copy.
Yep.
And you're helping us, a little bit.
Yeah, as far as support goes. The thing good about that book, I said this before, but it's worth saying again, is that you know how like some books, it's like, okay, I'm going to improve in whatever. I'm going to read this book. It's going to help me in this way or that way or whatever. But this is like the kind of stuff where you can literally turn on that, like right when you read a certain sentence and it's giving you whatever, whatever this advice is, whichever one it is, but extreme ownership will say. You can turn it on right then and there. Like right then and there, you can walk away. You don't have to read the whole book technically, and you'll already be changed.
That's awesome.
You just got to do it. I'm saying like not all books are like that. It's like, oh yeah, it's this gradual process.
That is awesome.
But anyway, that's a big takeaway I got from it.
Now, as always, if you want to let us know what's going on in your world, you want to continue this little talk that we're having amongst us, we're all up in the interwebs. Twitter, Facebooky, and Instagram. Echo is at Echo Charles, and I am at Jocko Willink. Now, one of the things that I made a note here to talk about, a little bit, gotta come clean here. Got to address something. Went on a little trip into the bush, was out of contact. Before I left on the trip, I stopped. I didn't stop, but I could no longer keep up. Could no longer keep up with responding. There was a time, up until a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, I committed and responded to every single person that hit me on Twitter. 100%. And I kept trying to maintain. And I told everyone I'm going to maintain. And I maintained for a long time. For what? 6 months, 7 months, something like that. But I cannot maintain anymore. I cannot respond to every single person. And especially coming back from being in the field for, 7 days where I didn't have it, or I have it very sparingly. I'm getting thousands of tweets a day, which is awesome. And you know what? I do read them all. I absolutely read them all. But to respond to every single one of them, I don't have time. Starting about a week and a half ago, I just said, nah, I can't do this. Because first of all, we went to the whole thing of like, oh, we're going to go 2 times a week for the podcast, or 1 time, 2 times a month for the podcast, maybe 1 every 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Most people didn't like that. I didn't like that. I want to come in here and get it on. Yep. So, and I used to be able to respond to the Twitter in like 45 minutes a day, which I find that time. I'll make that time. Mm-hmm. Then it was an hour. Then it was an hour and 10 minutes. And all of a sudden it became 2 hours a day. And then think about this. If I missed a day for whatever reason, or missed a day and a half, 5 hours. Yeah. Finally, one Sunday, I sat down and I did Twitter for a stupid amount of time. 6-something hours. And Twitter's a great method of communication, but I gotta be more selective and disciplined about my time management.
I don't want to carry this on even further, but the reason I'm kind of laughing is that because you're kind of new to social media.
Yeah.
So
kinda.
But it's funny because like this is gonna sound strange, but you're that like nice of a person that you're like telling everyone, like, we know you can't respond to everybody, bro. But you're like really bothered by it. You're like, guys, I can't. I'm not rude. I'm not being rude. That's what's funny.
I feel bad.
That's what's funny because from your perspective, it's like someone's talking to you for real, and you're just like ignoring basically them. Putting your finger up, saying, I don't have time for you. Yeah. But the thing is, everyone understands.
We are kind of a group, a team,
right? Yeah. Which makes it even
which I'm sort of like the guy that facilitates the communication between us from almost a leadership position. And so for now, people, and you know what was funny? Because one of the troopers, a guy named Brandon, who's been in the game since day one. I forget how he found. I think he listened to Tim Ferriss' podcast, and he immediately like followed me on Twitter. And we were going back and forth on a bunch of stuff, and finally we were emailing about some stuff. We were emailing about he was trying to get Timex to sponsor the podcast or me or something, because Timex is selling watches. Factually, a lot of people have bought Timex Ironman watches. Because
from your thing,
from wanting to get in the game, like, oh yeah, that's cool, man, let's do it.
It's good,
man. And so a lot of people have factually bought those watches. And so Brandon Trooper was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to contact these guys. So we went back on a bunch of emails. I have pictures of me with this watch on, with this Timex watch that you see on my Twitter feed. Not the exact same watch, but the same model watch. The same model. And I have, I think, 5 of them right now. And actually, some troopers sent me other older, because you can't buy them anymore. I have enough of these watches to last me for the rest of my life. Of these, I think it's about 5 or 6. Mm-hmm. And I've actually done surgery on these watches over the years.
Like fixed them?
Yeah, like one would break a certain part, so I'd take another one apart and I'd put the insides in. So one day I was reading an email from Brandon, because we emailed back and forth on this a couple times. And then the other day he emailed me, just said, hey, just so you know, I haven't given up. I'm still on Timex. And I sent him an email. And I was reading it on the way here to record. And as I was looking through the email, when I parked, I saw his phone number at the bottom. And I just hit, it's an iPhone. I hit the thing and it called. Mm-hmm. And I said, and he's like, hey, this is Brandon. And I said, hey, what's up, man? It's Jocko. And he's like, really? I go, yeah, man, what's going on? I just wanted to touch base. And so I said, so we started talking. And this was right as the social media, I was reaching the kind of the end of the line of social media. Yeah. And as I'm sort of thinking about how I'm going to manage and how I'm going to, like, if I could tell people, like, listen, I'm sorry, I just can't, I physically can't do it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he says to me while we're talking, he goes, what's so awesome is that you respond to everybody. And I was like, no. Yep. So I stuck with it. Yep. I said, okay, you know what? I'm behind. I'm going to sit down. And I think that's when I did like a Sunday where I just sat there like an idiot.
You're not an idiot.
I know, but it just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, is a lot of people are telling me good stuff. And I'm like, I want to say, hey, man, thanks. That's a good point. Oh, that's a good book. I'm going to check that out. Yeah. So when he told me that, I said, okay, I got to hold the line. I got to hold the line. Precious. And then I realized if I'm going to hold the line on that, I'm going to let go of more important things. One of them being the podcast. Yeah. One of them being the podcast and not putting forth quality podcast, which to me is the most important thing that I'm doing right now is getting the podcast quality from a podcast perspective, right? Sure. So yeah, there's my social media adventures.
I know, yeah, but it's funny to think of it from your perspective, because I would guess that from everyone else's perspective, it's like, no kidding, yeah, idiot. Yeah, you're freaking. But nah, man, good on you, bro. I think that's cool.
Well, I apologize, everybody, but and I'm telling you, I'm still like reading them, but I can't respond.
God, you're the man.
But what I'm going to try and do, since I don't have to be sweating the more responses if I tweet, I'm going to try and be a little bit more active as things happen, cool things happen, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out. All right. To close it out, thanks always. And once again, to the uniform folks out there, the firefighters, police, and law enforcement, and of course, military members. Thanks to you all for holding the line. And to the other troopers that are out there that are listening, who have opened your ears and opened your mind. You who are looking at yourself every day like we do, thinking, how can I be better? Thanks for doing that. Thanks for making that daily self-assessment. Thanks for moving forward without hesitation. And most important, thanks for getting after it. So, until next time, this is Echo and Jocko. Out.